Hey everybody, this is Frankie Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report, and right now I want to talk a little bit about segregation and how it's happening again, but at our universities. Yes, folks, people of color are now demanding segregation, which essentially is making a mockery out of everything, the vision that MLK fought for, isn't it? You know, while many of us are all distracted, I'm distracted with my mayor's race. People are distracted with the presidential election coming up. College campuses across the nation are turning the vision that MLK had on its head. Students are demanding to be segregated. Segregated. And you got these administrators at these schools that are accommodating them. And I got a couple of examples here. California State University over in LA, Black Student Union. They sent a letter to the president and they said, look, us Black students, we have been and still are consistently made targets of racist attacks by other students, by faculty, by administrators. And so because of that, we have these 14 demands that we're going to put out here. They're listed right here. I mean, such crazy stuff as the creation and financial support of the CSLA. This is a housing space delegated by Black students. Come on, folks. The University of Connecticut, their learning community reserved for Black male students only. What do you think about that? What if a white person were to do that? UC Berkeley established a person of color theme house. And what they're describing it as the best way to meet the needs of the students of color or low-income students. If I was a person of color, I'd be pissed at that. Students at NYU have been demanding two separate spaces, one dedicated for students of color and the other for queer students. As part of their initiative, they're calling it the NYU 2031 plan. What do you think about that? On websites, they list about 79 colleges that have established these links of demands where students have ostensibly risen up, coming up, demanding an end to the systematic and structural racism on campuses. They got their national demands on there. The national demands are that Black students and faculties represented on campuses must be equal to or higher than Black representation of the general population. Whoa. Free tuition for all Blacks and indigenous students. And divestment from prisons and investment in communities must be undertaken. 79 colleges have put these demands out there, or students within those colleges. Northwestern University plans to quadruple the number of Black student safe spaces on campus. I'm sick of safe spaces altogether, even out here in our community. Oh my God. And they got a 149 page task force report that's titled The Black Student Experience. And it basically out there asserting that Black students feel dissatisfied, exhausted, and alienated on campuses. Probably because they're putting out these stupid demands. One can only imagine what would happen if a group of white people were out there denying Black students seats at a table or saying we want this dorm all to ourselves, this lunch table all to ourselves. I mean, think about it. What we're seeing here is so much hypocrisy, folks. And it goes beyond that, too. You got DePaul, nation's largest Catholic university. You got a group of pro-life students out there that were told not to display posters reading Unborn Lives Matter because it would upset BLM opponents. God forbid if we're to upset the BLM opponents. So you can't share those posters. Harassment of white students is part of the mix as well, folks. At protests in Berkeley, they reiterated demands for spaces of color and transgender safe spaces. White students were prevented from crossing this campus bridge. Yet students of color were granted safe passage. How is this even acceptable? How is this tolerated in our society? Maybe some students of color aren't well prepared for college. I don't know what it is. If you look at it, virtually every major city in America, public education is controlled by progressives. It's been that way for decades. And they're completely aligned with unaccountable education unions. They've been promising reform for what, 50 plus years and failing to deliver. Unions like the NAACP voted for a moratorium on charter schools. Why? The reality is that they currently provide 700,000 black families with an escape route out of the disastrous public school system. I sent my kids to charter school. They were great. They did awesome. Maybe students are indoctrinated into some type of grievance culture. I don't know. Maybe they're taught by thousands of, they're taught by, like over in Seattle, they have thousands of teachers out there that are wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts. They organized an event to dramatize the inequality of public schools. And the irony here is those schools are ran by the same teachers that are wearing the shirts. It is a racialist, collectivist, progressive poison that we're seeing here. And this endangers one of the great ironies of modern times, folks, is that people of color demanding segregation. Think about it. People of color demanding segregation that makes an utter mockery of what Martin Luther King fought for. His vision. How twisted is that? Think about it. This stuff needs to end. We wouldn't tolerate it out of the white people. Why are we accepting it in this situation? This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report. What say you?